Hello everyone, this is Phil from underKG.com. Today we're going to take a look at Nokia Lumia 520. As we all know, 520 is the cheapest amongst the Windows Phone line of Nokia Lumia. Let's take a look at it. So it's got a receiver on the top front-facing camera. No, it doesn't have the front-facing camera because it's the cheapest phone of the Windows Phone. And 4.0-inch of WVGA IPS display, back key, home key, and the search key. This is a typical Windows key layout, so nothing special there. Volume rocker over here with the power key and the camera shutter key, dedicated shutter key. Windows Phone requires dedicated shutter key. That's a good thing. There's a 3.5mm headphone jack, nothing on the right. On the bottom is a micro USB port with the 5-megapixel camera over here without the flash, Nokia logo, AT&T logo, and the battery plate and the overall plastic is not exactly so great. I've seen Nokia doing better in the cheaper price range. It's not exactly a nice way to make their phone look like. But anyway, hey, it's a $79 phone, so what do you expect? And there's a weird thing about Nokia is that they make cheaper phones, that is low-end phones, battery detachable and the micro SD card slot expandable, and they're premium phones with the internal battery and without the SD card slot. I don't know why. Maybe it's a build quality thing. Who knows? This replaceable battery has a 1430 milliamps of capacity. It's been quite a while since I've last seen a battery capacity starting with 1,000 instead of 2,000 or 3,000s. But it's fairly low spec phone, so it shouldn't be a problem. Battery seems to last about the reasonable amount of time, so it should be okay. To get to the internals, it's got a Snapdragon S4 Pro with the 512 megabytes of RAM. That is half gigabytes of the RAM. 8 gigabytes of storage expandable through that micro SD card slot to 64 gigabytes. And let's get into the software. Software-wise, all the Windows Phone 8 devices are virtually the same. They don't allow manufacturer modifications to happen, except for Nokia, which is their biggest contributor to the Windows Phone series, and they don't even modify it a lot with font and little gimmicks. So virtually all the Windows Phone look the same. The basics is that it's divided into two parts. The left part of the screen has tiles. These are called live tiles, and the right side is the list of the full apps installed on your phone. So what you can do over here is that you can tap on an app that you have installed, and there's a pin to start menu. So the left part of the screen is called the start menu. And there is your tile. There's your app now converted into a tile. And you can tap and hold on it and to change the size on it. It has 3 different sizes. There's some that only supports 2, but most of them have 3. And this one doesn't. It will once I sign into my Tumblr account. But once with the notifications available, they turn into a little widget-likely thingies. These and the Me tab over here is a kind of a social network service integrated kind of thingy, and has 90 new items. These get continuously updated like widgets on Android. So that's the basics. And the reason why I don't exactly talk much about the apps themselves is because it doesn't really come with much of the apps. There's been a problem with the Windows Phone's number of the apps, but it doesn't seem like Microsoft has a very good way to fix this. It has been lacking apps, and it still does. There are many apps updated now, but it still lack basic apps compared to the other platforms like iOS or Android. I don't know why, whether it's lack of apps that link contributes to the lack of sales, or lack of sales that contribute to the lack of apps, but either way, the bottom line is it lacks apps. So that being Windows Phone's current issue, basic apps work fine. This is one of the advantages, that the basic apps, the system itself that works very flawlessly, even on the low spec phones. This is actually a fairly high spec phone, except for the RAM. It's got a Snapdragon dual core. But even on the lower spec phones, the phone works flawlessly. That's one of the good things about the Windows Phone. But what's the point about it if it doesn't have any apps to run on it? So it does have camera. Camera isn't really good. It's a 5-megapixel camera, but it doesn't have that Carl Zeiss lens or anything. So it still has that Nokia's awesome apps on the camera. Nokia Cinematograph, Panorama, Smart Cam, and the Pro Cam available if you take the file out of the other Windows phones, other higher-end Windows phones. But I other than these, I don't actually see the point. I am one of the Windows Phone fans, but that's because I can compensate the lack of apps with the superiority on the camera and the other parts. But this one doesn't have that. I know it's a $79 phone, but with $79, you can actually get an Android. Of course, it's going to be lower spec, but it does run apps. It does have apps. So, I don't know. This definitely is the cheapest way to experience Windows Phone. Not experience, to use a Windows Phone. But overall, since this is indeed a Windows Phone, do you really need to get a Windows Phone when there's an Android on the same price range? Maybe, $10 or $10 or $20, give or take. I don't think so. I honestly don't know why you should ever get a Windows Phone if they lack apps so much. So, although this is a nice phone by itself, the operating system kind of acts as a drawback, as we have all seen with all the Windows phones. But if you're gonna just use it as a feature phone, it works pretty fine. This phone quality is actually pretty good. It's actually great. On the messaging part, Windows Phone actually has one of the best keyboards in the mobile devices. So this QWERTY keywords works like a charm, and portrait, landscape, they all work like a charm. So if you're just gonna use it as a simple feature phone, then be my guest. But if you want a smartphone, not really sure. Just get other Android phones that does have apps. All right, that was the Lumia 520. I feel kind of sorry at this point to this phone, but that's how it is. So that was Lumia 520, and there must be a subscribe button over here, and there's on the second line under the description part, there should be a link taking you directly to our Facebook page. Subscribe, like to get our reviews fast. Today's review wasn't exactly cheerful or very helpful for the sales of the Lumia, but who knows? Maybe one day I'm gonna give some compliment on the other Lumias, as I did with the Lumia 925. Anyway, that was underKG, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you always for watching. Bye.